recommendation carried. We now come to item number 12 on the order paper, which is terms of reference for 2 working groups. And if I can ask Steve Van Kampen and Warwick McNaughton to come to the table, please.
Marguerite might be staying.
Oh, Marguerite, you're the alternate for Warwick. This has to do with the terms of reference for 2 working parties, the Joint Governance Working Party and the Treaty of Waitangi Settlement Working Party. And I will move the recommendations, but noting that we have that the composition of the committees is still subject to discussion at this committee. So if people who want to be on it, who don't appear as a nominated member, they can ask to go on it, and we can take a vote if there is an excess of membership over positions available. And we need also to appoint a chair and a deputy chair to the Treaty of Waitangi Settlement Working Party. So maybe it's best that we have the discussion first and then we move the resolution at that point. So I'll ask Steve, I think it is, to lead on this one.
Kia ora. Great summary, Mr. Mayor, thank you. This is a very short report to add these 2 working parties to the governing body terms of reference, which were agreed at its meeting, at the governing body meeting on the 12th of November. And as you have put, the membership needs to be agreed, the terms of reference need to be agreed, and a deputy and chair for the treaty settlement party need to be agreed.
Right, so open it up for questions. Councillor Newman.
Thank you, Your Worship. Under item 12, attachment A, my name is included here. Now, I understood in the last training, because I actually wanted to be on this, but I understood the last training, this particular working party, the membership was comprised of 4 councillors, 4 local board members, and the 4 councillors, it was determined that we need to have the councillors on the basis of geographic spread, because we were undertaking a representation review. Now, I understood that that would carry over, which is the reason why I wanted to make way for Councillor Dalton, who wants to remain on this working party because she was there in the last term as a local board member. But the membership, the way in which we're doing the membership of this has changed this time. Why was that?
Steve.
Through the chair, so last time the membership was decided by the mayor. This time around, the working party at its last meeting of the last term recommended that there be 6 representatives of local boards and 6 representatives of the governing body. And the mayor just agreed to call for expressions of interest, so we followed that process this time around.
Okay, well, if we're going to just adopt what the working party recommended, I mean, Your Worship, I know it's a little untidy, but I'd like to be considered for membership of the Joint Governance Working Party as well, if that's an opportunity. I know that means we're going to have a vote on it, but I'd like to continue. So I'll put my name forward as well, if you wouldn't mind, on B.
That's fine. That means that we have 7 nominees for 6 positions, and that is best determined simply by a vote. I'm sure the Deputy Mayor would like to stand aside. He's expressed that desire several times, but he does hold a position of responsibility and has been the continuity person on this committee. If I can just explain to Councillor Newman where we got to. Initially, we didn't have enough votes and enough nominees for the position, and I understood. In fact, I've got an email that you sent to our officers that you were prepared to make way for Councillor Dalton, and the decision was made on that basis. You're absolutely entitled to change your mind on that. What has been endeavoured to be achieved out of this is just a bit of a spread across the region. It's not due to representation requirements, but just generally it's quite good to have a geographic spread. And at the moment we have on the 6 original nominees, 3 from the south, 1 from the central, 1 from the west and 1 from the north. And we may end up, if you're supported to be on that body, with 4 from the south. So it was about geographic representation more than anything. You might like to comment on that.
Yeah, it's actually less important about geographic representation this term than arguably the last, because last term we were doing the representation review,
Sure.
so we're not doing it this term.
Yeah, no, I accept that. But the general view was to try to spread it. But people are entitled to support candidates for on whatever quality, and geographic factors are one thing, and continuity and competence is another. It's up entirely to members to make that decision. So if people wish to maintain their nomination there, we'll work through an election process. But I just want to make sure that that's what the desire of all of the nominees is, to keep their nomination in. Okay, any further comment on that? Councillor Simpson. Oh, sorry, I've got a list in front of me. I just saw your hand go up. I'll add you to the list. Councillor Cooper.
Oh, thank you. I was on this last time. I just wonder, you talked about the Deputy Mayor's continuity, but Councillor Newman has been on this the whole time as well.
Yep.
I was just wondering whether, to sort this out, you could have the Deputy Mayor ex officio, and that means he's got the ability to be there, but also Councillor Newman. And I was also going to suggest that it's time for, last term a local board chair was the chair, that this triennium it be a councillor that's the chair and a deputy, and a local board member that's the deputy. And I would like to suggest if Councillor Newman is to remain on there, that he be the chair.
Okay. Right, there's a whole lot in that comment. First of all, in terms of being ex officio, we have to maintain the balance 6-6 of local and governing body. The Deputy Mayor, if it's a solution to it, could be an alternate.
Well, that would work for me.
Is there a problem with that from the officer's point of view? Just on that question, I've got the other question I want to raise, and maybe you can answer both at the same time. The chair of the Joint Governance Working Group, is that determined by the Joint Governance Working Group itself rather than this body, or is it
You
within?
appointed Richard Northey last time.
Okay, and that hasn't changed. Okay.
So, taking your question first, Mr. Mayor, about the chair and deputy chair, the terms of reference in the report this term proposes that they be elected by the Joint Governance Working Party, but making sure that they're not both councillors or both local boards, so there's one of each. But that's the proposal for this term. And sorry, the first question I've forgotten. My apologies.
The first question was about the alternate.
About the alternate, we could make changes to the terms of reference to reflect that decision.
That's a possibility. And sorry, to go back to your original answer, I was just distracted for a moment. The requirement is that who appoints the
So
the chair?
the terms of reference in attachment A of this item
Yeah.
in the agenda report suggests that the chair and deputy chair be chosen by the working party itself.
And that would certainly be my preference rather than the mayor appointing, because when you have a body that's set up, it's really important that those who are members of that body have confidence in the person who is chair, and that can best be determined by a vote, in my view. So from Councillor Cooper's suggestions, if I just confirm with the Deputy Mayor that he is happy to be an alternate on it. I know he is, because he never wanted to be on it in the first place, but... Okay. Any further... actually, I've got Councillor Dalton.
Well, just, you might have resolved it now, but just going back to the point of consistency, Councillor Newman was there in the last term and attended. And I think attendance is critical. And we've got a couple of councillors up there with some pretty hefty workloads. So if the Deputy Mayor did want to attend, perhaps one of those councillors with hefty workloads might like to reconsider. But consistency and attendance is important. And of course I'm going to support Councillor Newman to be on that political working party. It was extremely helpful. Thank you.
And Councillor Simpson.
I commend us getting out of that nicely. My question, however, is what are these people going to say? And what opportunity do I have, and I don't want to be on it, just say, what opportunity do I have to feed my views through? How will that work? Thank you.
Question to officers, how do we get feedback from the Joint Governance Working Party to the whole of Council rather than just some of Council?
So the Joint Governance Working Party makes recommendations to the governing body based on the subjects that are in front of them. So those formal recommendations come back here if there is any decisions that you would need to make.
Okay, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you. And just for our benefit, could you maybe talk us through, we've got 6 councillors now on this committee. How do we get the 6 local board members, when, and what's the process?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that has yet to be determined, but my understanding is that will be decided by the Chairs Forum, the local board Chairs Forum. That's how it was done last time.
Okay. Right. Well, we seem to have resolved that aspect of it. If we come to item C, just to confirm the membership of the Treaty of Waitangi Settlement Working Party, and Councillor Sayers, I'm not sure whether obviously because we think the next settlements are going to affect the Kaipara, your name was nominated, but I didn't have confirmation from you that you were available to accept that. If you are, we think that would be appropriate. Okay, so the next section is section D. I'm open to any nominations. This is for the Treaty of Waitangi Settlement Working Party as to who wishes to chair or be deputy chair. So could I accept nominations for the position of chair and deputy chair of this working party, please?
I'll nominate Councillor Cooper for this.
And so is there a second? There's a seconder for Councillor Cooper, and I'd like to nominate actually Councillor Filipaina to be deputy chair of it if he's willing to accept that position. Thank you. Have I got a seconder for that? Yes, been seconded. And any further nominations? Okay, so I will now move recommendations A to D as amended or completed. Do I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Mulholland. All those in favour, please say aye. To the